Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and I don't know what's going on in the United States, but people are clearly losing their minds. It's either something in the water, in the air, but there's no way these folks are normal. And this seems to be widespread because you guys help me out, let me know what you think in the comment section, but what's happening right now in Philadelphia just is complete madness. We are in crazy world right now. We are not living in a normal universe, at least not the way we used to know it like just a few months ago. So there was this shooting, which you probably seen the video just like I did. There's a guy with a knife looking like a complete lunatic, and he goes after police officers, and surprise, surprise, police officers shoot the maniac with a knife. That used to be expected just not that long ago. We used to think it was understandable that if a crazy person attacks officers with a knife and he's not complying with orders of putting down the weapon, yeah, you kind of get shot. That's what ends up happening. But apparently that just doesn't compute with a lot of people because they started attacking and throwing stuff at those officers immediately after that happened. Why did you shoot him? Where is all this coming from? This is just illogical and doesn't make any sense whatsoever. This is a mass hysteria at a classic level. This is the way in which people lose their minds collectively. What on earth makes you think that any other outcome was at all possible when you have a madman with a knife? And what about the people around them, which supposedly are not crazy like the crazy guy with a knife? What makes him throw stuff at a police officer that just shot our man with a knife? This is completely senseless. And not only that, but after that they start protesting for this lunatic that got killed. I guess that would be the only... everyone saw that, everyone knows why it happened, and still they feel like they have the right to burn a city because of that. I think it was one of the wife or the mother or whatever relative of this person was complaining that why didn't you use a taser? Why do you have to shoot him so many times? That was one of the things I think the mother was saying. Was it the mother or what? I don't know. Someone there right after the shooting. Why do you have to shoot it so many times? Because it's the amount of times you need to stop someone. People have this fantasy that a firearm is like a magic wand that you just go like zoom and the person just drops dead. That's not the way it works. And you're not trying to kill anyone. You're just trying to stop that person. And usually you need several rounds, especially when someone is with his mental faculties not working correctly, which clearly was the case here. Then he needs to be shot a number of times, whatever number is needed, so as to stop that threat. And you don't blame that on the officer when he did his job, when he was just about to get stabbed. I think the father was saying they should have used a taser. Tasers are not... Look, people got to the point of feeling so entitled as to have opinions on absolutely everything. What on earth makes this guy think that he has an opinion to say how a police officer should act when his life is in danger? A taser is not something that you have to use mandatory. It's yet another tool that you use depending on the situation. If you have more distance, if you see that the person is not as committed towards attacking you, then sure, you may end up choosing to use the taser. Now, as soon as you have someone with a knife, that's a lethal weapon, and the officer is completely entitled to use lethal force when he sees that that person is not complying and is about to attack him and not responding to basic commands. This used to be common sense until not long ago. So you have someone that's very close, you have someone that's moving fast and is not obeying your command of put the knife down, and he's coming after you. Yeah, of course, you get shot when you do that sort of thing. So, not only that, they're just, hundreds, thousands of people feeling that because of this, they have the right to torch a city and burn, loot, destroy everything. So you have, this is mass hysteria, but there's also a level here of a criminal element within society, widespread to a point where this is third world type of thing where people use these opportunities just to do what they really wanted to do, which is go out and loot crap and steal and commit crimes and arson and burn stuff and attack people. They're doing what they feel, what they wanted to do no matter what, and they just had this opportunity so as to get away with it. That's really what's happening. These so-called peaceful protesters, there's nothing peaceful about them, and they're not protesting anything. They're not protesting a madman with a knife getting shot. No one protests a madman with a knife getting shot. That is what happens. Look, anytime I traveled or I had to move from one country to the other, you basically have to show your passport and interact with some kind of law enforcement officer of some kind. You know how he managed to never get shot in any of those? Well, I didn't attack the officer. I didn't try to take away his gun and shoot him. That usually works rather well. If you don't attack law enforcement officers, you have a good chance of not getting shot. That seems to be the thing that these so-called peaceful protesters are failing to understand. You cannot find a single incident in which one of these supposedly police violence is not more than justified. It is abundantly clear that it's been necessary time and again, and yet people feel that they have the right to do this and get away with this, and politicians let them get away with this. So torching a city right now, and not only that, attacking cops. One cop got run over by a truck. There's images there in YouTube. It is crazy. Just a bunch of assholes in a pickup truck driving around, see what they can steal, see what they can loot, see who they can attack and get away with. And when they saw the opportunity, they ran over an officer. And these peaceful protesters, I wrote it down because I was, pigs in my hood ain't no good. Man, that's nice. Pigs in my hood ain't no good. That is the level in which you are right now, in terms of what you can expect from these people. Pigs in my hood ain't no good. Beautiful use of the English language, by the way. As a non-native speaker, I try to articulate my thoughts as best as possible, and then I read these beautiful lines. Ain't no good. Yeah, that is some poetry. So yeah, these folks should be getting more of an education, learning how to speak properly, at least their own language. It's kind of something of a basic thing you should aspire to. But no. The real problem is the police brutality against psychopaths with knives. That's a real problem. Not these bastards looting, not these bastards attacking police officers. Over 30 injured police officers, at least a couple of them in critical condition, I believe. Where does this stop? I just don't see this ending well in any possible way. These people plan and continue doing this. If Trump wins, they will get even more upset. I mean, they got upset over a couple officers shooting a maniac with a knife. So when Trump wins, they're going to be burning up the entire country? Is that kind of the idea, I guess? Let's torch everything and destroy everything because we're offended or unhappy with the way in which events turn out. And if Biden wins, what is it that you can expect? These people. So you basically have these two scenarios, and we always talk about this with Matt during our live streams. But I'm just thinking right now, this is what you can expect with Trump, which is basically a civil war in which people are being attacked for no reason, and stores being looted and cities being burned. Defund the police. They want to be the police themselves. So, but if Biden wins, what is it that you can expect? These animals being the ones with power, these animals being the ones that replace the pigs that they don't want. They ain't no good in their hoods. That's what's going to be happening. What are you going to be doing then? What is it that you're going to be doing when these beasts end up being above you. This is the kind of thing, this is the oldest story in the book. This is stuff that happens in Venezuela, when we talked about how they brought out the convicts from, convicts from prison. They got them out of the prison, gave them an automatic rifle, a fully automatic rifle, AK-47, full auto, and they put them on the streets as to do their civic duty of patrolling the streets and making sure no one with a different agenda causes any problems for them, for the government. And the patriotic duty, the patriotic card, and the patriotic bullshit crap that they come up with so as to justify their commie horror show of a government that they end up with. Is that what you're going to be looking at when after the elections, when Biden just assumes that he won and that anything that Trump says is not accepting the results of the election? Is that the plan then? Man, I just think this is getting way out of hand. It's been getting way out of control for a long time right now, and you just have to prepare for this, folks. As we always say, you have all this stuff that we've been talking about all these years in the channel, and this, my channel has been on for quite some time. Use the search functions for specific things that you may be interested, but you are getting to this level of everything that you used to prepare for and it just wasn't happening. Well, now a lot of this stuff is happening, and the bar is being raised to a point where some of the things that you thought were good enough may not be good enough anymore. And you're gonna be, you have to prepare for this, which is like your prepping final exam to some degree in many aspects. This is. Guys, remember, books available in the links below. Street survival skills for a lot of this stuff in terms of street violence and such, and more survival manual, surviving the economic collapse, for more of a historic economic collapse perspective of a country going to hell, basically, which unfortunately seems to be what you're experiencing right now. See you in our next video, folks. Have an awesome day.